Welcome to You Make the Difference. I'm Wanda Walker, and today I'm talking to Pam Murphy, who is a true ministry leader in our community. We're going to talk about some of the initiatives that she and her husband have done recently and are planning to do in the future. Welcome to the show, Pam.
Thank you.
The first question I want to ask you, I know y'all were involved, you and your husband, Mike, were involved in the warming center. And so tell me how you got involved and what your experience was with the warming center.
Well, I was on a group email for a Troop Homeless Coalition, and we already had a heart for the homeless people in LaGrange. This past fall, we went out to different areas where we knew they were living, and we would take warm meals, socks, and blankets. And then as we began to see the warming station open, we went there and just began to minister to them there. And it was just a very, very neat experience. I had the opportunity to help coordinate volunteers, and then we would prepare meals. And so one night we had a big meal prepared, no serving utensils. And so I called my husband and I said, hey, bring me some serving utensils so that we can get this meal served, you know, so the people could enjoy their dinner. And he walked in and he never left after that. And his heart was just won out to the warming station. So then he began to be a very, very active part of that. And I was very happy because it's always neat when you're walking in ministry side by side with your spouse.
Yes,
so it was a cool experience.
Yes, and then the warming center transitioned, the Emmaus shelter took the lead in that, and the men began to go over to the Emmaus shelter during the day. And I know that Mike was very involved there. Tell me about that involvement.
Okay. Before we went to the Emmaus house, Mike would bring his smoker and his grill to the fire station because all men love to grill.
Yes.
Well, most men love to grill. So he would bring it out, and he would bring 50 to 60 pounds of meat. And these men would help Mike cook during the day. And it was almost like a tailgate.
Yes.
They would cook and they would smoke the meat, prepare the meal for the night for the families that would be eating there as well as for themselves. So Mike began to form strong relationships and really bonded with these men. And so when they transitioned over to the Emmaus house, he was able to help some of them get jobs, provide transportation, and just became a mentor to them. And it meant as much to them as it did to him, and as to him as it did to them. So it was just a really good relationship on both parts.
Were you involved at the Emmaus shelter also?
Yes, I have actually in the past helped tutor at the Emmaus house, and then I, help with them at the Emmaus shelter. And the neat thing is that we still have friendships with some of those people. We have some of the ladies that were able to get to a state of being independent, who call us and text us, and Mike sees a lot of the men out in the community, and they still call him, like, if they just need a ride.
Yes.
Sometimes we take our transportation for granted. I just jump in my car and go, and they need transportation, and he enjoys picking them up, taking them where they need to go, and just having a conversation with them.
I know, so. and if you don't have transportation, I mean, that just leaves you kind of helpless, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah, and so if you have somebody that can help you, then that is really good. All right, now I know that you have a team that's working in the Calumet area. Tell me how that got started and what you do over there.
Well, a year ago, there were a group of ladies who we all began to start meeting and praying that God would give us an area in our city where we could minister to families with children. And he opened the door for us to help with Troop Bell. He opened the door for us to be able to do a fall festival, a Thanksgiving meal. But we wanted to get into an area. And just to show you how everything becomes so related and it's just intertwined, it was from the warming center that we got to Calumet. Families would come at night to eat a meal, and we noticed they were walking. It would be grandparents bringing their grandchildren, mamas bringing their children. And so, we just began to listen to their story because we all have a story.
Right.
So we began to listen to their story, and they would just tell us their needs and their desires, the goals for their family. And so after the Warming Center had transitioned, we just went over and surveyed their community. We just went door to door, told them who we were, just asked them what would make a difference in your community, just right here. And they said, we would love to have activities for our children.
Oh,
to
wow.
get them off the street, to give them something positive to do. And we knew then that God had opened that door. So we looked around and we had the park.
Yes.
Rain or shine, we go there, and God just opened the door for that, and it has been more of a blessing to us than it has been to them, I'm sure. But we have been there since spring, and they anticipate us coming, so it's really neat.
Yes.
It's a good experience.
And I know that park was recently renovated.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yes,
It
and
is gorgeous.
also I know that it's been prayed over. Every week there's a pastor that goes there and prays over that, and other people join him to pray over the Calumet Park. And so it's amazing how when we invest, God just blesses, doesn't He?
He does, he does. We actually took a group of ladies and youth over there, and we just walked that path, and we prayed that God would open that door for us. So it's always, it's nice to know that it's not just one group, but it's many groups coming together. It becomes kingdom work and a kingdom community,
Yes.
which I think is beneficial to all of us.
Yes. Now tell me, what's some of the experiences you've had in the Calumet area that just really blessed your heart?
Well, we meet there every Sunday afternoon from 4 to 6. And it's just so neat because when we drive up, they're waiting on us. If we get there at 3:30, they're out there playing basketball. They're sitting under the pavilion, and they're just waiting on us to get there. They come out, and they help us unload everything. It's kind of like going on vacation every week. You have to pack up, unload,
Yes.
and they help us bring the grill over and unpack all the boxes. And we just sit down and we do Bible study with them and crafts and games. And when the splash pad was in the summertime, a lot of those families would come over and join us as well. So the neat thing is the relationships that we've built. There's one family that is near and dear to my heart. I have since had a meal in their home.
Yes.
They've been to mine. We just have had, we just formed a really strong relationship there. She was walking through a medical issue, and it just happened at the same time we were there. So we were able to go to Emory when she had her surgery, and then to be here with her while she had her treatments in LaGrange. And they call, they text us, and so we've got a friendship there. And other families begin to notice that,
Oh, yes.
and then they want to be a part.
Right.
So it's really nice.
Yes. Everybody needs a true friend.
True.
And also, I have heard that sometimes you have large number of children.
We do.
How many children? What's your biggest amount that you've had?
Well, this past summer, we were talking to the kids, and we don't miss. If it's raining, we're just wet.
Yeah.
But the kids were like, we don't ever get to go anywhere. So we took a group of those kids to Camp Vola for our camp, our
Yes.
church camp. But then we hosted a VBS there for 4 nights, and we averaged 175 a night.
Wow.
With families and children. The adults would come, they would sit on the parachute. We went in rotations, and one mom called me one day and she said, I don't get to come, but my child comes home every Sunday night, and he tells me the Bible stories. And he told me about Daniel and the lion's den, and I'd never heard that story. Could you tell me more?
Wow.
So it's amazing what a child will hear and go home and tell their parents.
Yes.
But on a weekly basis, it just depends. Children just come and go. We normally have 40 to 50, or we could have 70. And we just never know how many we'll have.
Yes.
But there was one family that lived over on McGee Street, moved to Wedowee, and we had helped them with school supplies. And I texted her and I said, we missed your smiling faces at the park. So this past Sunday they came to visit. And she said that they were going to come and visit their aunt every week so they could be with us at the park.
Oh, that's great.
So it's just neat to watch kids, and these are teenagers. These are high school kids.
Oh, great.
These are not just small children. We have anything from toddlers to 18 to 20-year-olds out there with us.
Wow. So are you dividing them into different groups, and
Depending
do you have
on the
people to
size.
help you? Tell me
yes.
about the people that have come to help you.
We have anywhere from 12 to 20 who come to help every week. Adults,
Yes.
men, women, and youth, and we have children who come. And the children love on the children. It's really nice because, the older guys are playing basketball.
Yes.
And basketball is not my forte. So the youth and the older guys get out there and they play basketball and they drink Gatorade and bottled water and they just hang with these guys on the court and they just walk life with them and just share their stories.
Yes, so when you first started, like maybe the first Sunday, how many came the first Sunday?
We probably had 15.
15
to 20. We went out in the neighborhood and we let them know that we were going to do it.
Uh-huh.
And before we did our VBS, we did something really fun. We took an ice cream truck. And everybody loves the music on an ice cream truck.
Yes.
And we had little cards made up and we gave away free ice cream. We have a local man that helps us do that. And so it's really neat because you're giving out free ice cream. Who doesn't like ice cream?
Right.
And it's just a time for us to get to know the parents because they want to know who their children are spending time with. So we felt like that helped bring us a larger number of people in for that event too.
Yes. And I think that there are people who like dream of being able to do things like this. But, it's like, how do we start or what do we do? But it seems like you can just go in and do those things. Tell me about how you get some of your ideas.
Well, one of the groups that I have followed for many years is called Mission Arlington. And years ago, we used to do backyard Bible clubs, but I followed Mission Arlington and they put their curriculum out there for free. And buying curriculum can be expensive. So we used their curriculum and we would just go out and, it just takes one or two. You just start small. And one of the things that a wise lady told me one time, she said, stay in the Word, stay on your knees, and start simple.
Yes.
So just being in God's Word, having a strong prayer life, and just starting with a few. And I remember one time I did this in a community of an apartment complex, had invited 100 people and only 10 came.
Yeah.
And I was so disappointed, but it was not about that at all. Because by the end of the week, we had 2 that had come to know Christ, and it was never about a large number. It's about what God intends us. And I think when we're obedient and we follow Him, He takes care of all the details. He takes care of the numbers, the food, and the details because He'll begin to put it on people's hearts to move and to go out and to do.
Yes, and I know when I've done some things, put it out to so many people, and then it's just a small crowd. One time my pastor came and I had advertised, and it was just my pastor and me and my niece and her baby and a friend. So it was 5 of us. But he said, I have seen some of the biggest things come out of my ministry that had a small beginning.
Right.
And so that was very encouraging to me at that point. And so I just went ahead, and the event turned out great. But, it is kind of surprising when you just send out an announcement and you just expect people to come, and then it's just a few.
Right.
Yeah, but God works in small numbers too.
Well, and not only that, when people see the excitement, they begin, the news spreads, and then they want to be a part of that. I think everyone, most people have the desire to be a part of something bigger than they are.
Yes.
And they have the desire to help other people. And so this is just an avenue, and it's not, you don't have to, you don't have to be well educated, and I use that term loosely, but you don't have to have all this list of prerequisites that you have to have done in order to do this. You just have to go out and share your story.
Yeah, and be a friend.
And yes.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people just want somebody they can talk to.
That's right.
And just be a sounding board.
Yeah, and I find people are real accepting of you if you're accepting of them.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay.
I have a little girl at the park. She's an introvert, and she doesn't like to talk much. So she gets my phone, and she types notes on my phone. And she'll say, thank you for loving me and coming here.
Oh.
And telling us about God, and then thank you for the food.
Yes.
And it's something that she's just very bashful, but it's her way of expressing. So you just have to meet people where they are.
Yes, that's right, and you do a really good job on doing that. Now, I know you went to Texas this summer with a ministry, and tell me how that relates to Calumet and also future ministries that you have planned.
Well, I mentioned Mission Arlington a while ago. Tilly Bergen has been the director there for 30 years, and their ministry started very small. It started in an apartment building, in one apartment, on a Sunday morning with 17 people. 30 years later, she has over 100 active sites a week. So there's like 100 Calumet spots a week.
Yes, wow.
And then it's just amazing. So, and like I said, they put their curriculum out there for free. So we go out and do basically what they did. So I went and I just spent the week with them just to see what they did. And they do much the same things that we do.
Oh, that's great.
Building relationships with people, loving on people, letting people love on you, and just walking life with them. But the thing that really impressed me is the community buy-in. In their community, the people have just, there are people who come and walk life with them, who are their hands and feet. There are people who have, like a company moves from a building, they'll donate the building to Mission Arlington.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, she owns the AT&T building there now, the
Oh,
old
wow.
AT&T building. But anyway, they donate the properties so that that ministry can continue. And then, of course, they do financial donations. And so every day when you walk into that center, there's probably 100 people. It's like a little anthill that are going out into the community to do work.
Wow.
It is amazing, simply
Yes.
amazing.
Yes, and I see that you have that vision, and already there are plans for more sites.
Right.
And I know with Kendall Butler, she has a vision for us to go in to 12 different sites, including the Calumet. And then I know that you want to go into the county also. So I believe God's about to develop those sites.
I do too.
And you are looking for teams of people.
Right. To go and do those things. You know, I'm just praying that God will open the door to the location He wants us in. At Calumet right now, you know, it's going to be winter and it's going to be cold.
Yes.
And kids are not going to want to come to the park. So there is a building there that is available for us to use. It needs some repair, like a new roof and some ceiling repair. So we're going to go there, and we are going to redo that part of the building so that the kids can come there on Sunday afternoons. But one interesting thing we're going to do is we're going to open that center on 2 afternoons a week. It's a come and go. It's not a daycare type deal, where kids can come and get tutoring, and get, you know, just homework help.
Yes.
Or just equip them with the skills that they need to be successful in school.
Kind of a homework ministry place.
Yes, yes. And then we'll give them a healthy snack, because at the end of the day, I would like a snack, and I know they do too. So it's just a way for us to just to continue that ministry. And I envision having a ministry center there one day. God has placed that on my heart. When I first told my husband, he was like, "What?" And I was like, yes, I can see us putting a building there,
Yes.
a metal building, and then offering a place for adults to come during the day to get computer skills
Yes.
and resume skills, and having Bible studies for women and men, and having lunches. But not only that, there's so many resources in our town, and a lot of times they don't know they're there. And it's just connecting them with the right people to help them to be more independent and just to give them that self-confidence. But at the end of the day, of course, we want to share Christ with them.
Right. And you know, to me, it's a win-win for the organizations here.
It is.
To have a site where they can come and there are people who need their service.
Right.
Because I know lots of times you have a caseload that you're supposed to reach, and you don't know exactly how to reach that caseload. But if you have something set up and people are already coming, then you can bring your services there and meet your caseload more than you need to. And so it makes you look good, and it also serves the people that need that service. So I think that's a wonderful idea. And you know, somebody is giving you that building to use. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, they are.
Yeah, and I recently heard that City Light was interested in going into a certain area to minister, and a man approached them and said, "I have a building, and I just feel like the Lord says that I need to give it to you." The man was unaware that they were planning to go into that area. So God's moving on the hearts of the people.
That's right.
And
we have to be obedient.
Yes, that's right. And so, you know, we just ask that if there's somebody out there that has a building in those areas that we address, that you'll think about giving that building to ministry.
And that's what has made Mission Arlington so successful. And they are so humble. They are humbled by what God has done.
Yes.
And I asked her one time, I said, do you ever turn anybody away? And she said, God has never turned me away. So that just really put even a more burning fire in me to come back.
Yes.
And just see those things happen for our town.
And people are they respond to the gospel, don't they?
They do.
They respond
They
to that
do.
love because people so much need the love of God in their life.
They do.
Yeah, and so, lots of times maybe we're hesitant to speak a word to somebody, and really if you just speak encouragement, or if you take food to them, they recognize where that comes from without you saying a word.
Oh, yes.
And they'll say, the Lord is good to me, and that just opens the door. So, it's easy to do ministry here.
It is. And I always try to be mindful, it is not about me.
Right.
It is about God.
Yes.
And it is about following His lead. And if it's helping someone else, and that's what He's called me to do, then I will do that. And I always let them know that this is not about me. This is not from me. This is a blessing from God.
Right.
And, we want to empower parents to be able to lead their children.
Yes.
And that is one of the main goals of having the center open during the day, is to do that.
Right.
Because I had people who walked with me and mentored me as a mom and as an adult, and we all need that to be successful.
And you really can't have too many mentors.
No.
You really can't.
No, you really can't.
All right, now, Mission LaGrange. Have we talked about Mission LaGrange specifically? Okay, we'll talk about that and tell us how it affects the community.
Mission LaGrange is an outreach of our church.
That's Rosemont Baptist.
It is Rosemont Baptist. We have mission partners all over the world, and we go there. In fact, I was in Guatemala last spring break, and I knew then, and we go and we teach in the schools. We go and we meet the needs that the missionaries have, whether it is teaching in a school or if it's doing construction, whatever they need for us to do, to be the hands and feet. But I knew even in Guatemala that I would not go back this coming spring break, and there's a particular reason for that. But I didn't know it at the time. When I came back, I told my husband, I said, I won't be going back next year. He said, Pam, you've been for the last 3. And I said, I know, but God just put it on my heart that this was my last trip for spring break. Well, now I know why. Because we're going to take the Calumet children, along with other children in the community, and we're going to, we have already secured Camp Viola for 3 days, and we're going to do a day camp. So children from the Calumet area or the other areas that we are ministering in, it will be open for them to go. It'll be a free camp to them. It's going to be a day camp because we want to be able to offer it for elementary, middle, and high. And it'll be hard for us to house that many students, so we'll be doing it in a shuttle bus. But we're excited about that.
How many children can come?
Well, they sleep 60, but they haven't given me a number that I have to cap at, so I have to wait for that.
And they won't be sleeping, so you could probably have more than 60.
Right.
That's great.
We're hoping so. Anyway.
Yeah.
But Mission LaGrange is an outreach where we mobilize our church for an entire week. I read once that a church is not measured by the number it seats, but by the number it sends. And so we try to mobilize the church for the week, just to go in and just wrap our arms around LaGrange.
Yes.
We try to do construction work for families who need it, if they need a new porch, a ramp, and these ministries go on all year, but it's 1 week set aside just for the whole church to mobilize. We do jail ministry, Emmaus House, Harmony House, the laundromat ministry, the backyard Bible clubs, and if there's a ministry, there was a ministry that we helped in Pine Mountain, but anybody who comes and says we have this need, then we fill it. One of the coolest things that we did with our youth was we did, and we did this during D-Now, was we prepared food boxes and we just surprised people that we knew needed food with a box of food that would feed them for a week.
That is great.
So it is just a neat time for us to love on LaGrange.
Yes, and I know we recently have started doing an outreach through Troop Transformation and providing food at the Stay Lodge Hotel, and that was in the paper recently, and I've had people call me to say, I need a food box. And so we're trying to connect them with some resources. But there is a lot of need for food.
There is.
Now, you mentioned the laundromat service.
Yes.
Now, tell me about that service, and also give me a story that happened at the laundromat.
Okay. We have a group of adults, men and women, surprisingly enough, along with youth, who go to the laundromat. We go once a month. People in our church put money in a container and they donate the laundry detergent and fabric softener that we need. And we go there and we help people bring their laundry in. We let them load their own laundry. Everybody likes to put their laundry, sorted a certain way. And then we just ask them, can we bless them by putting the quarters in and using our detergent? Some people will say no, and that's fine.
Yes.
And then some people will say, yes, and that's great. And then we just, we have conversations with everyone who is in there. And it gives us a time to just build those relationships, talk to the children. But there was one really neat thing that Pam Sewell, a dear friend of mine, she helps at Calumet as well. She leads the laundromat ministry. She went up to a lady and asked her if she could use, if the lady would allow us to put the quarters in her machine. And she began to tear up. And Pam said, "Are you okay?" And she said, "Yes, but today I had to choose between doing my laundry or buying my daughter a birthday gift. But my family needed clean laundry." So that's what she chose.
Yeah.
She said, "But because of what you have done for me, I will now be able to go and buy my daughter a birthday gift." And as a mom, that just warms your heart.
Yes, it's precious.
It is, because it's not really about the size of the gift, but being able to give your child a birthday gift is just huge. And so for her, it was great. We had one homeless lady that we met in the warming center.
Yes.
You can just see how it all intertwines.
Right.
That she was there doing her laundry, and another lady was there, and she began to have conversations with her, and she is now living with her.
Wow.
So,
yes,
neat.
That's great.
Yes.
Now, really quickly, I just want you to, we have just a little bit time left. Fellowship of Christian Athletes at your school.
Right.
How many students are coming?
We average 300 or more every Wednesday morning. I had over 300 this morning. Started with 4 little girls 6 years ago, and they wanted to do something for their school, and now we are strong. We do service projects and have retreats, and it's just a great time with those kids.
It is wonderful. Well, I know you are excited about what Pam's doing, and also I know the Holy Spirit is working with you to join in ministry in our community. And we believe that our town is going to be known as the Kingdom community and a place where people serve one another. Thank you for watching You Make the Difference, and we'll see you next week.
Got a promise from heaven. It's a year of replevin. Got a promise from heaven. It's all coming back. Everything Satan has stolen